29.979. .85.
You just hit the fastest lap.
.915. .968. .954. .997. .30.034. .30.045. .30.145. .30.045.
Hi guys, welcome to Nashville Super Speedway for this edition of the Maconi Setup Shop AFIX tutorial. We're going to take a few laps in the replay mode to get a better visual of the track, where you want to place your car, and I will try to go over some tips to make you better on the short run and help improve your long run. So this is lap 1. The tires are obviously not up to temperature quite yet, but as you can see already, this seam in 1 and 2, you want to be on the left side of that seam. You're going to notice there's a lot more grip and you don't have to turn the wheel as much. 3 and 4 does not have any sort of seam that you want to be on the other side of, so you're just trying to get as close to that yellow line as humanly possible. Again, you will notice a big difference in grip if you are on it or not on it. This lap here, I almost made it, but as you can see the push that I have here, I'm exiting a little wider than I would have liked to. This is my fastest lap just because of the heat in the tire. The tire itself is producing more grip with the heat in it, but at the same time you're trying to keep that tire temperature as low as possible, so it's really important to be smooth, easy on the gas, and use as little wheel as possible. How do we use as little wheel as possible here at Nashville Superspeedway? You want to get down below this seam in 1 and 2. You can see my wheel input here is already much less than it is when I'm not hitting it, therefore I'm not putting as much heat in the tire, and I'm going about as fast without having to put all those extra inputs in. 3 and 4 we just went through. When we come back around, I'm going to switch camera angles and show you guys the bump down there, and I will slow it down and we can go over it. See my wheel input down here in 1 and 2 just for being on the wrong side of that seam. That's an example of what you don't want to see. So down here in 3 and 4, there's a bump right about here. Okay, we just saw the car bounce and get over that bump. Right there. So this bump down here, this A-fix setup is, in my opinion, good enough to get over the bump, but I can understand, again, I am testing in default weather with the correct date and time that A-fixed is set to. So with weather changes, the track is potentially going to be a lot faster, which means the car can get lowered to the ground. If you are having problems getting over this bump here, my suggestion would be not to rush the gas. So you want to get in the corner about the same way. You want to get down to this yellow line the same way with a nice arc. But if you're having problems with this bump, I would not try to get full throttle right away. If you're full throttle and you hit that bump, it really upsets the car and can make your situation a lot worse. So I think it's best if you try to get around half throttle and ease into it as comfortable as you are, and then once you're past that bump, once you're through that bump, is when you can get back into it. Again, you're trying to exit these corners as low as you can. You don't want to be swinging wide out to the wall because you're putting in so much extra wheel input to keep it off the wall, and in turn it just heats up your tires and costs you time. Another thing about Nashville Superspeedway, it's okay to race side by side. You obviously don't want to do it for a long time because it will cost you and whoever you're racing with a lot of time to the group in front and allow the guys behind you to catch up. It's harder to complete a pass here because the groove is so narrow. You don't want to be in this third lane, so you really don't want to be 3 lanes or higher here, just because there's a lot less grip. There's not as much drive up here, but it's just enough to kind of pinch this guy down on the bottom and prevent him from getting a really good runoff. So if you're the one who is in a position where you're on the outside here, if a guy has been catching you for a few laps, it's best to let him go and get back to the bottom and try to save your tires as much as you can. If you're the one catching somebody and you get a good run and you show the inside and you have position on him, be patient. You will complete the pass. You don't want to rush anything because you're just going to heat your tires up And once you do complete that pass, you're going to be at a disadvantage just based off of the amount of tire heat that you have built up in your tires. Same goes for restarts. If you're restarting on fresh tires, you've got a few laps to run the top to try and maintain your position. But I would recommend getting to the bottom as soon as you can. Not only for overall speed, but it's just the best way to save your tires and give you a better chance to have a lot more pace than other guys on the long run. This lap here was an example. We're going to go back and watch it. The last few laps, while I've been talking, I feel like I've done a pretty good job of hitting this line here. This lap in particular, we miss it completely, and we have to wait on the gas. We're using more wheel, and you can see the difference in lap time. That's a whole 10th right there. So we'll make it up in the next corner. As you can see on the lap time chart, we did a much better job. This is a really good 3 and 4. So even with the mistake in turn 1, a really good 3 and 4, I still lost a 10th. So that just emphasizes how important it is to not be on the yellow line, but at least get your left sides over that seam and get as close to the yellow line as possible. Again, it's a big difference in handling, and it's a big difference on tire heat and tire wear. Okay. And that is 10 laps here at Nashville Superspeedway. If you have any comments or questions, please leave a comment down below. We will get to these as often as we can. I will keep checking on them and try to answer any questions you have. If you do find that these videos are helpful, please hit the like button. Feel free to subscribe to the Maconi Setup Shop YouTube channel and ring that notification bell so that anytime that we post these tutorial videos, you can get a head start on what to expect for the upcoming track that we're going to. Thank you so much.